Hi everyone and welcome to the Tony Talking Show. Glad you could be with me on a Thursday afternoon to have a conversation about everything that matters to you and to me. And the exciting part about the show today is that Avery Hilditch is back with me. Haven't seen Avery, well I've seen him, but I haven't had a conversation with him since December last year. And Avery's been working through a whole series of issues, which I'm sure he may or may not tell you about. Who cares? But the important thing is that Avery's here, and sometimes Avery says some things that are a little bit controversial. So, and we'll enjoy that moment when he does. But we've got lots to talk about, particularly in relation to what's happening here in Australian politics, and we might even touch on what's happening overseas. He's got some interesting ideas around a poll that was taken in the UK about, and he'll talk about that, about the UK elections and where Labor now sit compared to the Conservative Party and particularly Nigel Farage. So there's lots and lots to talk about. So and remember, this is your time to have a conversation with us about the things that matter to you and to me. And so I love the conversation that you have. It's stimulating to say the least. And I appreciate that most of you have a conversation with each other. There's a lot of people online right at this moment, and it's great to have you on board. So I just want to say, before I do anything else, please remember to subscribe to my channel, ring the bell for further notifications. I had heaps of responses in relation to the post I put up this morning around Pauline Hanson. So this conversation today will not go back and revisit that particular post, but no doubt Avery's got some things to say about Pauline as well, and we've got some examples of where she sits within the polls, and also what the election result is likely to be if an election was held today, and where the Labor Party sit in relation to the Liberal Party in regard to all of that. So, without much ado, I would like to welcome back Avery. Good to see you, man.
How are you? I've been, as you said, I've been dealing with issues in the house. Sasha broke her hip, developed a life-threatening disease, developed an eye infection. Since she came out of hospital at the end of August, I have been basically a full-time carer. Very little time to do anything else at all. Fortunately, I mean, the hip's fully recovered. She got a lung cancer. She's had radiotherapy for that, and the eye problem that she developed, it's called microbial keratitis. She nearly went blind in the right eye. Fortunately, that is coming back as well. Her eyesight.
Yeah,
but
and I guess our love goes to Sash too, you know that I keep saying that to you. Send her our love, and hopefully she recovers okay.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm going to go straight on to something that was said just a few days ago. I'm not avoiding people because they scared the shit out of me or anything like that.
They don't know you all that well, do they, mate?
That particular person has got as much chance of scaring me as she has of Jesus coming back.
All right. Well, we can get into. I like the way it took us less than 2 minutes for Avery to get into a religious conversation.
You said about me saying something controversial. I thought I might as well start with it. So.
And also, I'll just leave it to you to make a conversation about Child Protection Party, mate, if you don't mind, because you've got something to say about that in particular.
Tony, as you're all aware, 11 years ago now, just over 11 years ago, he founded the Child Protection Party because he was so pissed off with what was going on with the child protection system in South Australia and generally around the country. I am really sad to report that due to a gross lack of support from the public in particular, we have had to cease operations. But as of last Sunday, the Child Protection Party no longer exists. It appears to me that if one of the problems we had is that if we were asking for money to protect puppies and kittens or to legalize marijuana, we'd have had no problem raising the funds that we need, but we just wanted to protect children, and who cares about them? Apparently the Australian public doesn't.
Yeah, it's a great shame. I mean, I withdrew when I retired because I was burnt out, Avery
Yeah.
is the one that's really kept it all going for all those years. And but I think the positive out of all of that was that we were able to raise some awareness.
Yeah.
We did stand a couple of times for politics, which was an
Yeah.
interesting exercise in itself. I mean, I think you learned a lot from that, Avery, as well, in terms of the process and so on.
That election where you ran as a candidate, we had been a registered party for about 6 weeks when the election came up in 2019, and we got nearly 2% of the vote.
Yeah,
We got over 16,000 first preference votes, which for a party that nobody had heard of was a remarkable achievement.
it was. We were surprised because we almost got our money back, actually, if I remember correctly.
We got, I think, 1.9% of the vote we got.
Yeah,
which is not a lot, but if we got that, if we got 2%, we'd have got all of the money that we'd spent.
Yeah. So I guess the point is about the political side of things was that we did the right thing given the need for it.
Yeah.
The disappointing thing, as you said, was the lack of enthusiasm that we got from the general population in regard to children and the need to protect them. Which is bizarre, given that we're looking at the Trump Epstein files and what's happening in that space. And we were there ahead of the game back in 2015, trying to correct all of that, or trying to at least make people aware of those issues about children being removed and children being abused while in care and children just being abused generally. Yeah. So we were out there pitching. It didn't work out as it should have for varying reasons, I guess, but that's the way it goes.
One of the problems that we had was legacy media. They were not interested unless a kid got killed.
Yeah.
And then they were only interested for 1 or 2, 3 days. And then they move on to what the football results were or something like that. Their priorities were all wrong.
Yeah, and it still surprises me to this day. We could have made a success of it because we put everything we had. We put money into it. Yeah. 2 of us in particular put some dough, and we put our money where our mouth was, I guess, and we were committed to the issue. But nevertheless, people, and it's still. I'll keep saying it. It amazes me, Avery, that more people didn't take to it, and and the media, as you said, the media was absent. Yeah, around all of that.
On Facebook, we got to over 10,000 followers. We had about 1,300 people signed up to join, and of those 1,300, there might have been 50 or 60 that were active.
Yeah.
Okay,
so let's move on to other things that are more pressing right at the moment. Not that issues around kids aren't pressing, they are, and they will always remain pressing for me and for you and for those of us that support the CPP. But you are setting up an organisation called the Halo Foundation. Do you just want to talk about that for a few minutes?
The Halo Foundation is a charity that we've set up to help families that are that have the Child Protection Department involved in their life. One of the biggest problems that people get when the department takes their kids away or gets involved, because they don't always take the kids away, but they get involved, and they'll say things like, "You need to have a parenting class." So the carer, the parent, whatever, will say, "Where can I get one?" And they say, "Well, it's up to you to find out." We want to, in the Halo Foundation, provide that, not necessarily provide the parenting classes, but provide a source where people come to us and we say, these places do parenting and they've got courses right now. They do anger management classes. They've got courses right now. You want lawyer financial advice? We can point you at people that will help you. We've got lists of pro bono lawyers, for example, which is something that people are always asking us to. They need legal advice for it, so we can point them at lawyers that'll do that.
And I think a lot of that stuff though has come from the work we do with the Child Protection Party, and a lot of the work I did in particular advocating for parents over the years. So the Halo. So we've got, the point is you've now got a foundation which is national, I think, which is designed to do just
based in Victoria, but the aim is to help anybody anywhere in the country that has had the Child Protection Department get involved.
So anybody with any child protection issues, the situation has not gone away. Avery and the Halo Foundation will be available for you to contact if need be.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move. Sorry, go on.
Before we do, can I say one thing more about the Halo Foundation? There's a website which is still being under construction. We need to do a little bit more work on it. There's a Facebook page as well, the Halo Foundation for Families and Children Incorporated. That's the name of the page. If people, there's very little on there. We've got somebody starting to work for us to create stuff to go on there. Please go and like and subscribe it, and like and follow it, just so we can grow and promote the foundation.
Great work, mate. Fantastic.
Donate money, please. We need it.
Yep. Okay, great. Okay, let's move on to the other things that matter. Those things matter, but let's move on to other things that matter, and particularly, I think, in relation to what's happening in Australian politics. I haven't spoken to you for such a long time about this that I think it would be helpful to get your version of what you think is happening in relation to One Nation, the change in the polling, the whatever it is that we seem to be doing, which is moving further and further to the right. Lots of people in this conversation are already talking about Pauline. People are saying Pauline gets far too much attention. There's no doubt about that. So some people are saying someone did ask to put the link up, Tony. So if you wouldn't mind putting that link up, Avery, for the Halo Foundation to a Facebook page,
I shall go and get it right now.
Would be really helpful. Now, I know that talking about Pauline Hanson is a pain in the ass because she is, but it's really important for us to understand where the right wing are going, how they're getting there, because the progressive side of politics, which is, simple people like myself and Avery, do have to have a voice. We have to talk about what's going on. We have to give you the opportunity to be able to respond to it. And we get lots and lots of people on my channel discussing what their particular views around One Nation, the Labor Party, the Liberal Party, the National Party, and so on. So it's important to be able to push back against things that we think are ethically and principally wrong. And one of the factors which I am focusing on and will be focusing on for the next couple of years are what in the freaking hell are these values that everybody talks about? I was watching a independent Australian Institute of Studies today with Angus Taylor. As someone said, Anus Taylor. I thought that was an interesting take. Let's leave off the G and see what you get. But anyway, Anus Taylor was talking about the things that he plans to do and continually he discussed these values, these Australian values. And it's like, I just wish someone would tell us, and I really do mean this, specifically what are those values? Because when you look at the values, which is about integrity, rule of law, respect of individuals, respect, religious freedoms. When you talk about I'll get you to respond to this in a moment, Avery, but this is my pet subject at the moment. But when you talk about all of those things, everybody agrees with them. No one's going to dispute them, except when you talk about the Muslims in particular. So when you be Islamophobic, which is what they are, that it's like the rules change. So, we can have a conversation about ISIS brides and the rules change. The kids coming back. No, the kids shouldn't come back because their parents made shitty decisions. So what are we going to do about the kids? So, and we become kind of, I think we start to propagate hate and division around that. So one minute we're saying these are all our values. Everybody agrees with them. On the other hand, we're saying, no, they're not. They're shit. And that we shouldn't actually agree with them because there are circumstances in which we should take away people's privileges and people's rights. And before we discuss that, Avery, and I want to ask you, but just keep check, mate. I did look up whether or not someone who lives in another country could be, someone who is a citizen of Australia but has moved to another country, i.e. the ISIS brides and their kids, which are Australian citizens. If you're an Australian citizen, you have what's called an implicit right of abode. Governments can regulate how you enter, passports, guarantee quarantine, etc., but they can't permanently ban you from your own country without blowing up the concept of citizenship entirely. The High Court of Australia has made it pretty clear over time that citizenship carries fundamental rights, including entering Australia. A key case is Love versus Commonwealth to 2020, which reinforced limits on the government's ability to treat certain people as aliens. Different issue, same underlying idea. The government doesn't get unlimited power to exile people connected to Australia. And so on. And we're talking about international law. Australia is bound by agreements like the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, which says no one shall be arbitrarily deprived of the right to enter their own country. So that's where it stands right at the moment. I used to think it was a constitutional issue. It isn't. It's actually an issue which has been determined by law, not the Constitution. So what do you think, Avery, about this kerfuffle? And what do the rest of you think about this kerfuffle, which we now see as being ISIS brides and people re-entering Australia after they've made some pretty shitty decisions?
Well, the first thing on that particular topic, I think if you look a bit further into it, you'll find that what they were talking about, I don't know about this Love case, but they cannot deprive a person that was born here of citizenship. Right? So if you were born in Australia, if you'd gone to fight for ISIS and then you decided to come back, they couldn't say to you, you can't come back in. But they could do that to me because I wasn't born here.
Yeah, they could. Apparently,
they cannot leave you state.
Apparently, they could change the legislation. So, and this is what the Liberal Party and the Conservatives are suggesting right at this particular point in time. Shadow Minister for Foreign Affairs was on saying that they want to be able to change the legislation.
So they could then ban somebody who was born in Australia.
So that if you go overseas and you commit an offence, then you won't be welcome back to this country. So that would include you go overseas, you murder somebody, I guess,
but
or whatever.
Is that for a person that's born here in Australia, or just a person like me who emigrated?
No, for anybody.
So, okay,
he wants to give the government the rights to be able to virtually not de-citizenize someone, not take away their citizenship, but take away their passport and their right to return. Yeah, that's what they want to do.
That would render them stateless, and that is against international law. The other thing I was going to say is, the thing you've got to remember about the Liberals is that they are not a Liberal party. That's their name, but they are not a Liberal party. They are a Conservative party.
Yeah, they're not liberal in the small. They're not liberal in the small.
They're not liberal. I said that's their name, but that's not what they are, right?
Yeah.
They are a Conservative party. The Conservative values are things like freedom of religion, as long as it's Christianity in this country, right? With the Conservatives, how many Conservatives have we got that are, what do you call it, devout Muslims, right? I don't think there's that many. How many Conservatives, not in government anyway? Not in
not
that
in the Liberal.
Many. I didn't say there's none, and but I doubt there's very many that are in members of the Liberal Party or the National Party. And I cannot see any of them joining One Nation, but who knows?
Who knows?
No.
Well, there obviously are a few in the government who are Muslim.
But the government today is a. I hate to say progressive. They're not really progressive. They're left. They're slightly left of centre. They're not.
I just call them
moderate. Far enough. Yeah, they're moderate, nearly moderate. Yeah. They're not that progressive, but they're not a Conservative party. They're not that far from them.
No,
really.
No, I agree. So the question here is, and I think it's an interesting debate because it is about changing laws. And Albanese's come out now, Avery, and said that they're not contributing to their return to Australia, but they have issued passports to some of them. Apparently, 10 people have come back. So a number of people have come back. Oh God, I've forgotten what the issue was now. 10 people have been tried for their involvement with ISIS. Now, I didn't know that. And one person has been convicted of that. We don't know what's happened to the other 9.
I don't have an issue with that. They went to support a terrorist organisation. Terrorists should be prosecuted and jailed. So let them come back, prosecute them, convict them, put them in jail. I got no problem with that. Kids.
So that's right.
On the other hand,
yeah.
What crime did they commit?
Well, none.
Apart from having the misfortune to be born to somebody who decided to go overseas and join a terrorist organisation. That's not the kids' fault. You can't punish the kids for that. And if you're going to say the kids can't come in, you're blaming the kids for what their parents did. That is very biblical, by the way.
Oh God! Didn't take us long to get there. We'll talk about that. Let's talk about that in a moment. I was going to bring up abortion, but I did not bring that up to you either because some people have a go at you for that. But let's just focus on the issue at hand, which is you're right. So should we then should we have stronger restrictions on the women that are returning? Apparently one woman has been refused to return to Australia, so they've already taken some action against her. And the others are likely to be returned. But I think the thing too here is, I don't know what you think about this, but for me the issue is to the degree to which ASIO do their job to vet these people about the degree to which they've been radicalised. And the other issue is, if the children have been radicalised, then we need to work with the children to de-radicalise them. Because the chances are, if these kids are left in this, the other argument for me is if these kids are left in this camp, Avery, and they become further radicalised, then they're a further danger to the world than if they came back to Australia and someone worked with them and they met with other kids that didn't think the same sort of shit that they've been taught while they're away. And they become contributors to the system and so forth. So
the ideal people for them, those kids to meet up with that don't think the way they do in these camps, that think differently, the kids that might have been radicalized, is other Muslim kids here. Not Christians, not atheists, not Hindus or whatever. Other Muslims said that is what they were teaching you is wrong.
Which actually,
unfortunately, one of the you mentioned Islamophobia earlier. One of the unfortunate things about Islam in general is that the average Muslim might say that is wrong, that sort of thing. The leaders don't, and so people hear what the leaders say because they're the mouthy ones. They're the ones that get up and say death to all Jews, or death to America, or whatever all the hateful things that they say about killing people. That's what we hear. We don't hear the average Muslim. A lot of the people that live where I live are Muslims, and they're great people. I've got no issues with them at all. They don't come up and tell me that because I'm an atheist I deserve to die. Some of their leaders do.
Some of the Christians might.
I think some right now.
It brings up another interesting point. Like Pauline Hanson shit that she said the other day, saying that all Muslims, are terrible people. All Muslims are terrible people. I think she must have missed those Muslims after December the 14th, who all came out and.
Here's the thing you need to bear in mind: all 70-odd-year-old women with red hair are awful people.
Oh, well, we know that. We know that.
Every single one of them.
And I do at this point apologise to anybody who's got red hair, because I find red hair rather nice, actually, to be quite honest, except on her. But yeah, you're right. It's the all or others crap that she carries on with, without Yeah, there were many that came out after December the 14th who were saying that they were with the
Yeah,
Jewish people and they understood what the Jewish people were going through at that particular point in time.
the guy
And
that
believe
stopped
me,
driving was a Muslim.
sorry?
So one of the shooters, the person that tangled him, was another Muslim.
Yeah, that's right. That's
Yeah,
right. Well, let's
and
just forget that point. You
yeah,
know, completely irrelevant that a Muslim saved many lives from these other
a Muslim
Muslims that
saved
were
a Muslim saved Jewish lives.
Jewish lives. That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not many lives, Jewish lives.
yeah.
Right?
So, and you
I'm
know, I
sure
can't.
that guy would have done the same thing. Stop if he'd seen them shooting at a pile of Christians or a pile of Hindus. I think that guy would have jumped in and done exactly the same. He didn't care who it was that was being shot at. He stepped in there and did it. Good on him.
One of my, I must put this up if it comes up so you can see it. There are a lot of Muslims who do not associate with ISIS. They are an extremist group as Zionist is to Judea.
Yeah,
Nailed it. You nailed it,
yeah,
Sandra.
absolutely.
Thanks for that. That is great. So yeah, and I think why is it just the progressive side of politics that sees these differences? Like I'm curious as to why the right of politics cannot see the logic in some of these arguments. It just blows me away. Why are they
Uh,
so filtered around this shit?
it's
Oh God, we've left
no, no,
Avery
I'm trying to think how to
thoughtless.
phrase it. No, I know it's the sort of tactic that Pauline Hanson is using is exactly the same tactics that Trump used, which is exactly the same tactic that Adolf Hitler used.
Mm.
Marginalize those people. Their fault. The reason that Germany was in trouble in the 1920s and 30s was because of the Jews. The reason that the United States was in trouble is because of those Mexicans. The reason that Australia is in trouble is because we're letting in so many Muslims.
Mm.
It's the Muslims' fault that this is happening. It's the Mexicans' fault that this is happening. It's the Jews' fault that this is happening. If we were to deal with those people, our problems would go away. Everything would be rosy.
So,
And
what's
what they do
because
when they do that sort of thing is there are people out there who are afraid to say it. They think
Mm.
it, but they're afraid to say it. And then somebody like Pauline Hanson stands up and comes out with her racist bullshit, or Trump with his racist bullshit, or Adolf Hitler 80 odd years ago with his racist bullshit. And people say, well, I'm not the leaders are saying it now. What I'm thinking must be right.
And we also know from history that this sort of strategy in the long term never works out.
Yeah.
Never ever works out. So, but why are we buying into it now? Is it easy politics to sell this stuff? Is it like finding an unreasonable argument to make a reasonable argument to those people that don't think, that aren't critical thinkers about these issues?
I don't know. As a person who wasn't educated in Australia, I don't know what history they teach here in high schools.
When I went to school, mate, no Indigenous history whatsoever.
No.
It was all
But
about Captain Cook landing in 1788 or whenever it was and
they
conquering the country.
Did they teach
What?
you about World War II?
Yeah, got taught that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was going to say, if one of the problems is that people don't learn from history. That
Yeah.
Hitler. Oh, that was 80 years ago. No, actually, it was not. It was about 95 years ago.
Yeah.
Right. People don't learn from it. Hitler invaded Russia, and he ignored the lesson that he could have learned from Napoleon in the early 1800s. Don't invade Russia on horseback, because that winter is going to screw you over. What happened to they got Napoleon he lost the vast majority of his men, died of froze to death. Tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of Germans froze to death because they invaded.
But I don't think it is a good point. But I don't.
And that's what I think is happening now with people that think that Hanson is the best thing since sliced bread is they're forgetting all about the history of what that sort
No,
of
I
thing.
don't think, but I think you're right. But I don't think they give a shit about history. I don't think Pauline Hanson sits
No,
down and says, this sort of strategy doesn't work because quite frankly they look to recent history and they see what Trump was able to do,
yeah,
and they think, oh well, if that clown can do it, well, they probably don't see him as a clown, but
no,
those people with any reasonable sense of brain power will. But they think, well, okay, he was able to get power by becoming an asshole. Why can't we be an asshole as well and gather just as much power?
yeah. But I mean, they're not interested in learning from history. If they'd learned from history, they'd know that Adolf Hitler failed. Right?
Yeah.
Mussolini failed. The only fascist that didn't fail was Franco.
Yeah.
And he didn't go to war, and he didn't persecute minorities. Right? He just did stuff that was good for Spain. But the fascists that went to war, the fascists that persecuted minorities and that, they lost.
But at the end of the day, too, it is about another aspect of fascism, which is taking over the media. It's about dominating the narrative. It's about, as you said, othering others, putting down minority groups. It's about ingratiating themselves by increasing the amount of wealth that they can accumulate. It's about all those things which we see happening in the United States. And Avery, do you think that it is possible in Australia for us to go down the same path, I guess? Is that possible here? Or do you think we're such a different culture that
I think that we are very different in that we're a damn sight more laid back than they are in the United States.
Yep.
Right. Even though there's been the One Nation's rise has been really dramatic, but I think Nathan said it the other day. It's going to peak.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think they're close to that peak now.
Yeah, 100%. Just going to say that.
I would be very surprised if there was a federal election now. She might win a few seats, but in fact, I know Nathan said this the other day. Or was it on Tuesday?
Tuesday.
It's not. It doesn't matter how many votes you get if you don't get sufficient votes in the right places to win the seats. Yeah. And he doesn't think they're going to win that many seats, even if they get a sizable percentage of the votes. And I agree with that.
And I think we could go to the polling thing
at this point.
Really, do you reckon that might be a good segue? Yep. Just to show how much Avery and I are ahead of the game. I just got to figure out which frigging thing I'm using now. So here we have this chart, Avery. You might like to wander our way through it. Go for it. Hold on, which one are we looking at? Yeah, this is the top one, the primary vote.
That's the primary vote. So people that vote number one for Labour, Liberals, Nats. I don't know if Nats are on there, are they? A Liberal Nat coalition. They got the two.
Is this the coalition? Yeah.
The Greens and others. And you can see that Labour has been was trending down until we get to late January. It starts to swing back.
It starts to go down about December the 22nd.
No, it started to go down on the 1st of June. On the left-hand side, it's been going down all the way.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But then it got a bit sharper around about December the 22nd sort of time.
Yeah.
But now it's picking up again, and the really dramatic one is where One Nation has gone from 6% up to 27% or 26%, something like that.
Yep.
And that's the primary vote. The first preference votes. Are they going to sustain that in an election? I don't think so.
No.
If they did, they would get a reasonable number of seats. I don't think they'd get enough seats to win a majority.
No, they won't. No way.
They wouldn't. I don't know.
I'm gonna go. If that ever happened, I'm gonna move to the United States.
Yeah.
The other one.
You got the other one. The other one shows the two-party preferred vote.
Yeah.
And you see the Libs were growing until about December the 8th, 7th,
same
8th,
time. Yeah.
Sorry?
Yeah, about
And,
December the 8th. Yeah.
Yeah, and now they're on a downward spiral. I don't think Angus Taylor is going to bring them up. Like I said
No.
right at the beginning about that person, he's got as much chance of resurrecting the Liberal part, the coalition's chances as Jesus has of coming back. All right, I'm going to stick with that.
Yeah, there's
He's got
there's a
nothing.
lot,
He's nothing to offer.
yep, this is true. So, certainly when they're looking at the primary votes and the range of polls, it's quite evident that whichever way you look at this, the Labor Party is still miles in front on
Yeah.
party preferred.
Yeah.
So, and some people, all right, they've got it's interesting how they've done this with the polls. They've looked at Angus Taylor replaces Susan Lee. Nothing really changed there. They have the Liberal Coalition, Liberal National Coalition is reunited, and they look at the poll there. Corey Bernard joins One Nation. They look at the poll there. Nothing. Basically, regardless of all those things that have happened, nothing actually changes. Nothing significant changes. Nothing.
53% of that vote puts them with a majority in the House.
Yeah.
That's the lowest number I saw. It was 53 point something, I think it was. That's still a majority of seats in the House.
Yeah.
It's not the what they got 96 seats right now out of 150. So that means there's 54 seats between all the other parties, which gives them a 42-seat majority. They won't have a 40-seat. They wouldn't have a 42-seat majority if they took 53% of the vote. That thing there, but they still have a reasonable majority.
Yeah.
I don't think One Nation is going to be that significant. They're going to be significant, but not. They're not going to take power. They're not going to take sufficient seats to be I don't think to be a really major concern. I'm not worried that we're going to suddenly find ourselves with a red-headed prime minister who's
No, that's not going to happen. And you talking to me before we went to air that there's some interesting stuff happening in the UK, which I thought was interesting data. Talk to us about that for a bit.
We're talking about the opinion polls here. In the UK, we've had opinion polls all my life. Gallup started in the 1920s, and there's been opinion polls for decades and decades and decades. The thing that's always been the best predictor of who's going to win an election in the UK has always been companies like Ladbrokes or Thomas Cook, betting agencies. And right at the moment, the betting agencies have got Keir Starmer and the Labour Party, who were on their way down, winning an election if it was held tomorrow. Because and Nigel Farage, the UK equivalent of Pauline Hanson, is on. His numbers are declining. They haven't declined a great deal. He was about 22%. He's down to about 20% at the moment. But it's just I just thought it's interesting that everybody's worrying about that lurch to the right, and it appears that maybe it's not going to happen as much as we thought it was.
No, and I think and Dewey, there's this hue and cry about I think the fact that there's so much popularism on the right in France, Germany, UK, and US that somehow it will infect us. Like it'll become part of our persona for some bloody strange reason. And to some extent, I guess there has been. Well, we can't deny the fact that there has been a move to the right, in terms of One Nation
elections. So there were populist elections in Europe, all over Europe last year. How many of them actually won?
Italy.
That was it. There's 36 nations in Europe, something like that.
And the interesting thing about the Italy election too, which I heard, was that some of the right-wing populist stuff that she ran on, she hasn't implemented either. So she's become, when she got elected, she became more central, I guess.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I think that it's unlikely, is it, and I think this is a fair argument, is it about being dissatisfied with the state of politics in Australia? Is it about people thinking, "Fuck it, I've had enough. I'm going to. I don't want to support any of the major parties anymore because they don't do anything for me." Is that part of the problem as well? And if so, how do you overcome that?
I think part of it is that people are looking at the Liberal Party, the Nationals, the Coalition, and Labour, and there isn't that much difference between the two. Right? Yeah. The Labour Party at the moment, I think, are a better, more responsible party than the Coalition, but they're only just right left of centre. When they picked Albanese, I think they picked the wrong person. Albanese's response to that shooting on, was it December the 14th? That was completely wrong. If I was to criticise a Christian, Cardinal Pell, if he was still alive and I was to criticise him, I could get prosecuted for that now because of that hate speech law. Because what it did was it added two words. It added the words "spiritual leaders" in there. And when it's just a general thing about hate speech, now it specifically mentions that. If I was to,
but then shouldn't Pauline Hanson be charged for hate speech given what she said about Muslims?
She's got. They have what they call in the United States the speech and debate clause. She says things in Parliament. She is safe.
Well, it's privilege, but she didn't say it in Parliament. She said it. She said it to Sherry Markson.
Yeah.
Sherry Markson herself says, I think, a lot of things that are.
You can argue that's political speech.
Andrew Bolt says stuff all the time that, particularly, I mean, his biggest hate, and there's no disputing this. I don't give a friggin' frying fart. I don't know what a flying fart looks like, but I don't give one anyway to Andrew Bolt, who is clearly racist. Yeah. Every opportunity he has a shot at Indigenous people. Yeah. Every opportunity. And so, am I likely to be charged for hate speech by saying that Andrew Bolt is a racist? Probably. Well, who knows?
Because the hate speech, you are free to express that opinion. It's just you couldn't say, for example, that guy is a paedophile. That priest is a paedophile.
Like George Pell, supported by Andrew Bolt.
Yeah,
I hasten to add.
Yeah, and Dolt. It's not Bolt. It's Dolt.
Dolt.
Andrew Bolt. Yeah. Get it right.
There's a whole host of issues around this we could talk for hours on.
Yeah.
Dee and I were talking about the fact that the Trump-Epstein files, I'm calling now the Trump-Epstein files because Jimmy Kimmel suggested that that's how we should refer to them now. So I thought, that's a good idea. Let's do that.
What I said is they should call it the Trump files featuring Jeffrey Epstein.
I like it. Yeah, okay, let's go with that.
Trump is mentioned more times in the Epstein files than Jesus is in the Bible.
Someone said the other day he's mentioned more times in the Epstein files than Harry Potter. That Harry Potter's mentioned in the Harry Potter books.
Yeah,
it's a million. Well, someone said the other day. I don't know how true it is, but it was 1 million times he gets mentioned.
Jamie Raskin.
Now there's a featuring individual, isn't it? You get that mentioned that many times.
Jamie Raskin, after they got hold of the unredacted documents, that big tranche of unredacted documents, he just did a search for and count how many times the name Trump appeared, and it was him that said it was over 1 million.
Yeah, unbelievable. Yeah. But the point I wanted to make is that I heard a fabulous interview with Emily. Please, I know Dee's online. Dee will tell me. Emily from the news agents. Anyway, she interviewed the brother of Giuffre and Virginia Giuffre.
Yeah.
And they had some really interesting things about the fight and never being recognised by the DOG, not being interviewed by them. And I couldn't help. And the thing that irritates me the most about this, we might focus on this for a second. The thing that frustrates me the most, I think Dee's probably just sent me a message. Emily Mateless, thanks, Dee. It's always good to have the wife online. But the thing was that they haven't ever received any contact from DOJ. Now, Avery, because child protection has been something you and I have been focusing on for I've been for a few decades now, for the last decade and a half. But the issue still remains that not one, and I don't understand this, someone explain this to me, why you can have literally thousands of young girls trafficked into sexual abuse and not have one person, apart from Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, apart from them, put them aside, apart from them, you can't have not one person charged with sexual assault or trafficking.
Because one of the major people involved has got the power to pardon everyone that's involved. He's top of the list. Trump has been named, according to Jamie Raskin, his name appears over 1 million times. That doesn't mean it's 1 million cases of him sexually assaulting kids. It could, I had coffee today with Trump. That's a mention.
No, it's about his relationship with Epstein, though.
Yeah, but Trump, President of the United States, can pardon anybody. He's been pardoning people left, right, and centre, as you know. All of his friends who support him, they're not the ones that he cares about. He doesn't. Well, the only person Trump cares about is named Donald John Trump. The ones that he slightly cares about are the ones that have got a lot of money. And what he cares there is that they give some of it to him.
But there are a lot of people. But I think, Avery, there are a lot of people in the file who Donald Trump wouldn't even know.
But if they've...
so he's not... I understand he's protecting Ludwig and a few other people, probably, and lots of people that he may know. But there are also lots of people in that file, apart from, Andrew. Why not go after Andrew?
We don't know who they are. It could be that he knows every single one of them.
Could be,
right?
Could be, or it could be that they would say, "Well, you keep us the issue quiet, and we'll contribute to your little coffers and make you another $1 billion." Who knows?
And the other thing with that as well is that he has appointed an attorney general who's a drooling sycophant who will do nothing about it, and so Pam Bondi, that idiot beneath her, Blanche, the moron that's in charge of the FBI, Kash Patel, none of them are interested in actually prosecuting those people. And the ones that Trump doesn't know will keep quiet, because if they start speaking, if they start talking about Trump or Lutnick or all the others that's in there, start giving evidence against them, they know what's likely to happen to them.
I got a new term for it. Do you think it's inappropriate at this particular point in time to refer to her as the Bondi massacre? Is that too soon?
2.5 months ago. 2 months ago it would have been, but today maybe not so much.
Because she's a friggin' mess, And how embarrassing! How would you feel if our Attorney General behaved at a hearing in the way that she, or anybody for that matter, at any committee hearing or whatever, behaved like she did? It would be so friggin' embarrassing.
One of the big differences between our Attorney General, our cabinet ministers, and Trump's cabinet is that Trump the president of the United States can pick somebody the guy that was running the coffee shop that he goes to every morning as a cabinet secretary. They don't have to have any skill or experience. Just look, Kash Patel is a good example, right? Look at his choice for defense secretary, right? His experience in the army was he was a photographer or something like that in the army, and that qualifies him to run the biggest organization in the United, or one of the biggest organizations.
One of the biggest in the world.
Yeah,
yeah.
And he's qualified.
Well, it was on Fox News, mate. What more could you want?
Yeah, exactly. He was a Fox News person. Fortunately, here, because we got a parliamentary system,
we had a Westminster parliamentary system.
Westminster parliamentary system. They don't have a parliamentary system in the United States.
They have a Congress.
They have the Congress. Because we've got the Westminster parliamentary system, the Prime Minister chooses MPs that have been elected by the people for his cabinet.
Yeah,
they can appoint somebody as a minister without portfolio sort of thing who's not a member of Parliament, but they can't have that person full time for the duration of their term. So if it's a 3-year
well,
term,
we have secretaries of departments that are there for decades, often. Regardless of the political affiliation, or there is none. They're bipartisan.
But the cabinet minister, right? The minister for defence is an elected MP. The minister for health is an elected MP. The minister for finance, elected MP. In the United States, right? Who elected Howard Lutnick?
There is a confirmation hearing. So there's kind of this Swazi election that happens, I reckon, though, isn't there? Like they just go off and they sit in front of a committee, and it's very partisan who's they're going to select, and they have to be a gigantic drop kick not to get through, basically. So it's a Swazi election process.
So Matt Gaetz didn't make it.
He did get there, yeah. Yeah, it's case in point, actually. Gaetz wasn't able to make it because everybody saw that he was such a clown.
So massive drop kicks like Pete Hegseth got through, and Tulsi Gabbard, and Christy Noem.
And Bondi. And the Bondi Massacre.
And the Bondi Massacre, yeah. Kash Patel, confirmed. Yeah. None of them are fit for purpose.
I tell you what, the one that amazes me the most is Marco Rubio.
Marco Rubio,
because he is a man who hated Trump, and this is the bizarre thing about not just American politics. Well, no, we don't see it much in Australian politics, I reckon. But the bizarre thing was that he had so many negative things. Remember the little hands thing he did, referring to the size of Trump's penis, and he joked about that, and said he would make the worst president we'd ever have, that sort of stuff. A few years later, 6 years later, he's sitting on Trump's knee, mouthing all the things that Trump wants him to mouth.
Yeah,
he's a revolting human being.
You've got others in there. I think that Ted Cruz is even more revolting than Marco Rubio. The things that Trump was saying about Cruz and his wife.
Yeah.
If anybody was to talk about Sasha the way Trump talked about Ted Cruz's wife, I would be on trial for murder.
Oh, really? Really? I mean, there's a whole string of these sort of sycophants.
Yeah.
And so American politics has this terrible flavour to it, I reckon, that hopefully will never come to Australia, even though I have heard some people suggest that we get rid of our current electoral system, a system which is revered by people right across the world who think that we have the best system when it comes to elections that there is. And yet people want to get rid. Now they want to get rid of. I heard them mutter. They want to get rid of preferential voting. They want sort of the British system, first past the post. They want to do away with, how's this? They want to do with elections on Saturdays. They want to have just elections set any time during the week, whatever, I don't know. And, and I think, why do you want to do that? Like, why do you want to go backwards? Or why do you want to go to a place where we've never been, really? Because it's the way the system's been since
Well, you look at countries where they've got those sort of systems. Governments change all the time. Italy, from 1945,
oh, far, yeah.
have had hundreds of governments. 80 years, they've had about 900 governments or something like that, because they change them more often than they change their underwear. Every other couple of days, we got a new prime minister now. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's horrible. So I think. I guess my fear is that there's going to be a shift. There's going to be this effort to I guess, you see, the closer we become Americanized, I think the greater the resistance that we will see. So anybody like One Nation or the Liberal Party who chooses to attempt to implement ideas that are American-based or Europe-based will be doing themselves a disservice.
Yeah,
it will not happen in this country, and it's something that we should be extremely proud of, I think, and that is one of the things that we should look at as being a value is our sense of individualism.
Yeah,
that we can be, regardless of our culture, regardless of where we come from.
Yeah,
we can attain whatever we wish to attain.
Yeah.
And one of the things I think that we need to value, which we don't, is our ability to care for those people that are the most vulnerable in our community.
Yeah. And I mean, children, the elderly, the indigenous people.
Yeah.
They all need, and they all need more, and we should be caring for them.
And
one of the things I value that I would like,
mate,
value, and I don't see it that much nowadays, is honesty. Right? So many people.
You could say, Pauline could say, well, I honestly hate Muslims. That would be honest, wouldn't it?
Or if she said it, yeah. But I mean, people, when she is arguing things like all Muslims are this, that is dishonest, right? That drives me up the fucking wall. That does. Dishonesty like that. You said this, right? And when you didn't say anything of the sort,
But could she not honestly believe that all Muslims are terrible people?
She can believe what she wants.
But isn't that being honest?
It depends how. It's if she says all Muslims are this, right? When she knows that they're not, because do you think that well, for a start, does she know all 1.8 billion Muslims on this planet? The answer is no. How many Muslims does she actually know?
Now you can't see the problem here, though, Avery, is you're trying to use logic to try and understand how someone like Pauline Hanson thinks.
Yeah.
And I think people that are racist and who filter their whole world through this right-wing distortion are people who believe. I think they do believe wholeheartedly. There's plenty on the comment section.
I know.
Who you cannot argue with. You cannot change their view. They'll only see things a certain way because that is what they want to believe, and they do believe it. So when they say what they say, and I appreciate this, at least they're being honest. So this is following up on your suggestion that people should be honest. I think many people, in my comment section in particular, regardless, they have different views to myself and others, but I think they're being honest. I accept that.
If somebody says all Muslims are terrorists to you, and they say it to me, and they say it to somebody else, and then to a fourth person, they say, no, there's good Muslims. Which one's being honest?
Well, the question is, why would they be dishonest in the first instance? I guess it depends on the
Why would they
audience.
be? Why would they be exactly that?
Because there's the audience they're addressing.
Yeah.
I agree.
So,
But I think there it still doesn't alter the fact that I still think there are people who believe some of this shit that and I think I do need to say this though, Avery. I think most of the time it's just ignorance.
Yeah. Well, the way I put it, low information.
Well, it's interesting. Yeah. It was interesting. Pauline Anson says, and I posted about this in my post this morning. Do the research. I thought, that's an interesting idea, Pauline. Maybe you should do the research. It's like this. It reminded me of this QAnon thing. Where QAnon people who follow QAnon would say, "I'll do the research." Go onto YouTube, watch your latest right-wing podcaster, because they will tell you the truth. I mean, we don't tell people. We attempt to tell people our version of the truth. Mm-hmm. I think. Well, I do anyway, and I know you do too. Yeah. But religion, for example, you could argue that you're telling them your truth, but someone who's a devout Christian will argue their interpretation of what you're saying is their truth.
Yeah. But the thing is...
God, this is a highfalutin conversation, isn't it, we're having here?
Yeah, it is. The thing is that if something is true for you, it's true for me.
No, it isn't.
It's got to be. Yeah, of course it is. If something is true, you can demonstrate...
You're saying this sarcastically, aren't you?
No, I'm saying if you say something is true, you should be able to show that it's true.
Oh, right. So this is evidence-based truth.
Yeah, this is evidence-based truth. It's true that I like honeycomb flavored ice cream. Right? That's true. Right? Is it true for you? No. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Is it true that the sky is blue at the moment? Yes. Is it true that the sky is blue because of light being scattered from the sun, being scattered, and it's being absorbed apart from the blue light, which is scattered, which is why the sky appears blue? Yeah. That's true, whether you believe it or not. Right? My favourite, one of your interlocutors on here, she thinks that what she's saying about abortion is true.
She's not on it. I can't see her here, incidentally. She's not here at the moment.
Yeah. She thinks that what she's saying is true. She accused me of denying babies the right to life. That is a dishonest thing to say, because I never did. Right? Yeah. All I've ever done is ask her to back up, to show me that what she is saying is true, not just say so. I've got to take her word because she's a devout Christian. No, I don't. Christians can lie as well. Right?
So even if someone has all the facts, climate change is the best example, I guess. Yep. Not everybody agrees on climate change, and 99% of scientists agree that there is
99% of climate scientists.
Climate science, yeah, right.
You got to get it.
So there are other people that think different, not scientists. Climate science, I agree. So, but you can have, as that famous Kellyanne Conway statement, you can have alternate facts.
The question there is, if, let's say, right, you need brain surgery.
Yeah, which I think I do, incidentally.
Are you going to go and see a brain surgeon who spent years training and everything else like that, or are you going to go and see a plumber? Or are you going to go and see some random person from Old Dinga Beach, right, who happened to read something about it on, see something about it on YouTube?
Yeah.
Which are you going to go with? Whose research is more worthwhile?
Well, the most eminent one, isn't it?
The person who's actually done the studies.
Yeah.
Right. What's his name? The senator that I wrote to when he lost his seat in the last election, Rennick. I wrote and congratulated him on his loss.
Yeah.
He said that climate change was a greater threat to the economy. Immigrants were a greater threat to the economy than climate change. And then he demonstrated his gross ignorance of climate change.
Yeah.
And he's dishonest. He's othering people, right?
Yep.
Immigrants. And when he's talking about immigrants, he wasn't talking about people like me, a white immigrant from northwestern Europe. He was talking about brown immigrants from Somalia and things like that.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
And I think, I don't know whether I've lost the
You've
channel
been
here,
going for
Avery.
over an hour.
Has the channel, oh, what's happened? Have you lost, are we still online? Can someone tell me? Because I've just lost my connection to, oh, no, I haven't. Here it is. No, we're right. Sorry.
Yeah.
I've been flicking around. I've got so many screens. I wanted to bring up this particular point, Avery, before we move on. We're going to move on. I'm just going to bring this up. So this says the other issue which concerns me greatly is the amount of money being spent on elections and so forth, and where that money comes from. There was an interesting article in the where was it? On the ABC. I'm going to read part of it so that we can have a conversation about all of this as well. And it says the Senate committee features climate disinformation, the Atlas Network, and Dr. Karl's clash with One Nation. They don't talk about Dr. Karl's clash all that much, but the scourge of AI slowpropaganda, viral disinformation campaigns, and online attacks against individuals and institutions is going to get far worse before it gets better. That is how it feels after watching the latest round of public hearings on the topic. The Senate Select Committee on Information Integrity on Climate Change and Energy held 2 days of public hearings in Canberra this week. It heard evidence from Meta, the parent campaign of Instagram, Facebook and WhatsApp, TikTok, Coal Australia, the Minerals Council and academics and community groups. The committee is investigating how online bots and trolls, disinformation campaigns and tactics like astroturfing, that's fake grassroots campaigns, are delaying global action on climate change and renewable energy. It is also investigating the connection between Australian organisations and international think tanks and influence networks. And it sounds like policymakers will have to wrap their heads around 3 related things: the very modern problem with AI slop, toxic algorithms and data surveillance, new developments in political lobbying techniques, the existence of a global network of think tanks that fossil fuel companies have poured billions of dollars into over decades to delay action on climate change, among other things. Australian Human Rights Commissioner Lorraine Finlay told senators this week that it would be an immense challenge to clean up online information challenges while protecting people's rights to free speech and free expression. Algorithms that prioritise engagement over accuracy push extreme or sensitive content to the top of public debate. So I wanted to bring that up because that is an issue which we really need to confront, and that is the degree to which foreign influence, bots, trolls, and emerging technologies like deep fakes further complicate the landscape and create a plethora of different views that are actually pushing the conversation further and further to the right.
I think part of the problem is that we've got things like Facebook that are owned by one person, or who is. Facebook's got 3 billion people on it now, something like that.
A lot.
And they've got far too much influence. That one organisation, one platform has got far too much influence. I think there's a good argument that could be made for saying.
Yep, well, I dropped out. Hold on, everybody. Trying to find it. Sorry, mate. Just I don't know why that happened. I can't explain how half this shit works. Anyway, go on.
I was just saying that I think there's a good argument to be made that organisations like Facebook need to be broken up. I think one way you could reduce their size and impact would be to sell it to somebody like Elon Musk, because he took Twitter and took it from 700 million people down to about 30 or 40 million people. I think he's done a great job destroying Twitter, and we need to reduce the influence of organizations like Facebook, like Meta. Too big. They're far too big. Fortunately, we've got things like Blue Sky nowadays and others which are.
But do you think are we doing enough? I mean, yeah, like in Australia, we've led the way just in terms of under 16s not having access to social media, and I guess that sort of stuff. But we know that they focus on rage. You know, the larger the outcry and the more bizarre something is, then the algorithm just feeds that to a lot of people who want to hear that sort of shit. So are we doing enough? Is there much more that we could do? And would it be argued that it would be the left or the progressives pushing back against the right? Because the people that benefit from this the most are the people on the right wing.
Yeah. Of course, the people on the right would say, oh, it's just those lefties or those libs or however they want to, libtards, whatever they like to call us. They say it's them just trying to control what we think and say. So yeah, they would absolutely would rebel against it. And no, just my head just went when.
Yeah, I think that I was going to read out. I'm trying to find this friggin' article again. I'm having trouble with my. I'll bring this up again because this article goes on to say, and I'll bring this up so that we can. Oh, I see what I've done. No wonder I've confused myself. Whoops, wrong one. So it goes on to say, but overtly broad or ambiguous regulatory approaches risk creating a chilling effect on public debate and discussion about complex issues that are absolutely critical to our nation's future. Bad faith actors can be very quick to emphasise their right to express themselves and speak freely, while deliberately spreading incorrect information online, knowing that their behaviour is eroding trust and social cohesion. But how does one definitely prove that someone is acting in bad faith? Who, and this is the crux of this problem, I think, who gets to be the judge? Well, it sounds like our political leaders should be warning Australians that the quality of information online will get much worse in the coming years and that we should brace ourselves, because the problem with misinformation and disinformation is not isolated to climate change and is going to take a whole of society effort to confront the problem. Senators heard that technology was progressing extremely quickly. The internet is a major battleground in the fights for control over everyone's future and the fusion of AI. Social media and data surveillance has made it much easier for our information channels to be polluted by propaganda and foreign actors. So what does it mean in Australia? Regarding the very modern problems with AI and social media algorithms, representatives from Meta told senators on Monday that Meta had removed hundreds of millions of bots from its social media platforms and it dismantled coordinated inauthentic behaviour when it discovered it. So the issue is that they know that this is happening. They know that the influence of their media is dominating, if you like, the whole spectrum of misinformation. But will governments have the gall, the guts, to be able to make the appropriate changes? That's the $60,000 or $100 billion question, I reckon.
They had this. The government here had. Was it in? It was an essay that started. Wasn't it? Had the courage to say 16-year-olds and under can't watch, can't go on Facebook.
Social media, yeah.
On social media, yeah. The SA government had the courage to do that. The federal government said, "Yeah, we like that idea. We can ban that for anybody under the age of 16." So they've shown that they've got the guts to take on the social media companies. Social media representatives from Facebook, you just read out, said in the Senate, "Oh yeah, we've got rid of hundreds of millions of bots."
Yeah.
Prove it.
Yeah.
No, proves that you've got rid of that you've got processes to get rid of these bots.
Yeah.
Where's they need to be transparent about it. Right? So the federal government could enact legislation that you want Facebook in this country. This is what you've got. For example, Facebook, you've got to do this. You've got to show that you are doing this.
I just got a message that someone wants you to interact with the chats. So I'm going to take out some time, Avery, now for us to do that.
Yeah.
So I'll bring up a few chats. So I'm going from the top to the bottom. So the latest one is that I'll be having a look, and I've got this one here, which hopefully will come up. I'd say, but we need more regulation. Social media is a giant chat room, and it's too easy to push people or just disable comments on political issues. And I think that's a reasonable comment.
Well,
so thanks, Cosman, for that.
I just remember something I was going to say. One of the problems we've got with what happens on social media, all the stuff that we see, is people with money can pay to get those their posts promoted.
Yeah.
So you get somebody on some wealthy person on the right, or who's got a lot of money and who thinks they work for the coal industry. They can use some of their money to promote climate denying stuff on social media. That could be governments can put a stop to that.
Yep, and I've got one also here from I've got one here from my mate Stephen Kingsley. Stephen, I hope Steve and I are having a bit of a discussion about him deleting his posts after a day. I hope he's not doing that anymore. But he says, I think you've misrepresented Pete Hegseth's military record. Perhaps you could look that up and understand that his military record is quite extensive and impressive. Well, I don't know whether it is or not. I don't know. Avery, could you just look that up for Stephen?
I'm looking it up right now.
Right. So we'll get the information, Stephen. We're not dinosaurs. Want you to know that. But I think at the end of the day, if this is, I hope you're not holding him up as an example of a decent human being, because clearly he isn't. Let's have a look. Okay, let's have a look at his.
I'm going to apologise. I said Hegseth. It's J.D. Vance was the photographer or something like that. Hegseth served in 2003 to 2006, then 2010 to 2014, then 2019 to 2021. He was a Minnesotan Army National Guard. So really, he's not a professional soldier. He's a part-time soldier.
So he didn't travel. He didn't know. He went to go overseas
and Iraq.
He did. Good for him.
Yeah. He was 8 months in Iraq, teaching at the Counterinsurgency Training Center in Kabul. Not in combat.
All
right. He was promoted to major, and he went to the Individual Ready Reserve. He joined the DC National Guard as a drill service member.
Right. So there are some comments on whipping up as well.
Yeah. I was wrong when I said Hegseth about a photographer or whatever. That was Shady Vance. He had a minor position. Hegseth reached the rank of major.
I don't think. Okay, we cleared it up. He did serve. Good for him.
Yeah.
But he's a drunk and a womanizer. What else can I say?
Yeah.
He's not a nice person.
Yeah.
You know, just watch him speak, man. Tell me what, Stephen, do you honestly think that he's an important individual to have in that particular position? And when you consider with even the people that Trump had during his first term, does Hegseth match up to any of them? Nah. Nowhere near it. Nowhere near it.
Second Lieutenant Hegseth in Iraq. The nearest he got to anything happening was when an RPG hit the vehicle he was in but didn't detonate.
Oh, well, I won't make any other derogatory comments about that, but I'm tempted, however.
He was not in combat, and he was a civil affairs officer, which according to this, civil affairs is a soldier who works with diplomats, discussing things with. They work with diplomats and help with planning and policy in the country where they are stationed.
Someone put this. Yeah, sorry, mate.
So he wasn't in combat. And he was most of his time he was.
Okay, but the bottom line is he's a shit person.
He's a shithead.
Yeah, right. So okay, let's deal with that.
He's a drunk. He's a womanizer.
I wonder. I saw this post, and I don't know what you're referring to. Obviously, it's a conversation that was further down. So, S.S. Smith, could you let me know what specifically, or someone else, just let me know what they were referring to here? Would be really nice. But how can you expect all these generals and admirals? Oh yeah, so JG says.
No, it's not salaries, is it? That.
How can you expect all these generals and admirals to take order from a major in the National Guard?
Great
point.
Question.
Good point. Yeah. Just trying to flip through some of this.
Doesn't have the knowledge or the experience to command the world's most powerful military. He does not have it.
So someone did say, Tony, I'm wondering why you opened this, but to do any interactions. Well, I'll let you know that the reason for that is that I haven't seen Avery such a long time. I just want him to be able to contribute to the discussion. It's as simple as that. And that's the reason. Normally, I try and go through this, and when I'm on my own, I find it particularly a struggle, and I do apologise today to you. So if you want to add some, there's so, mate, and when the person asked me about that, there's so many comments here that it's really difficult to follow them when I'm trying to keep up with Avery at the same time.
Yeah.
It's so someone, JG, I like that. Said this a while back, JG, so appreciate it. I'm watching on the TV in the man cave and commenting on the iPhone. Well done.
Here's one I like from
is
it LL Laufey? Lil Alfie?
Is it towards the top or where?
Sorry?
Where is it?
It's a comment from Lil Alfie 91. Says, speaking to your friend Stephen Kingsley, says Hegseth is a criminal. Yeah, he is.
Well, hopefully he will be tried when all this is over. And so D made this comment, which I'll put up.
One of the things that makes him a criminal is ordering strikes on boats in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
He's a murderer.
And Dee's comment now too is, how come the USA is the most powerful military and yet lose all the wars they start? That is a bewildering question.
Hegseth in charge.
If there's anything in particular anybody here thinks we haven't addressed, and you think I should, please let me know now while I'm just going through the comments. Second tap kills against Geneva Convention. The NLP run the
D asked Lil Alfie. So D asked Lil Alfie if he was thinking, or she was thinking about the drug boat bombings. Well, for D, we don't know they're drug boats. We were just told that by Trump.
Yeah,
and Trump is a pathological liar.
I do admire, I look at the comments section, and I do have to tell you this, guys. And girls, women, whatever. But I do admire the intellect and the knowledge base of the people that are in my comment section. It absolutely blows me away.
Oh, there's a question from K for Truth. Is Hegseth a Christian? The answer is he claims to be.
Was that after he had the affair,
But-
or before he had the affair? After he gave up drinking? Before he gave up
Well,
drinking?
He claims to be a Christian today, now. So,
Oh, right. Okay. He's been
you know,
converted, has he?
no, he's always talking about God. If he's
Right.
a Christian, well, no, I'm a better Christian than he is, and I'm an atheist.
Right. S. Smith, they're not going up, Tony. I tried. S. Smith, is this something you wanted to say? So it was friendly fire. She says, I'm just trying to see the things that some of these people are talking about. Okay, I've done my best to address, and I do need to say, if you want to thank Avery and I for our efforts, because we don't get paid for any of this, feel free to hit that thank button down below, send some money forward. I'll send it through to Avery. But please do that as well. The last few weeks, some people have been extremely generous in that regard, and I do suggest that you, if you like my feed, just give us a tick.
Do we remember dial-up internet? Yeah,
I remember it very well.
Absolutely not, James. You could not stream on. Yeah, I remember. My first modem was 1400 baud.
All right, someone says God will bless you, Tony. Well, I'm excited by that. Can I feel that blessing happening to me right now? And why me and why not Avery? I don't get it.
I'm an atheist, and God doesn't bless atheists.
Yeah, well, I'm an atheist as well, but
yeah, I know you are.
But clearly I'm the one that should be blessed by God. Many atheists are better humans than Christians.
Yeah.
Lived experience. Oh, so true, yeah. Gillian.
There's no hate like Christian love.
Oops, get rid of that one. Bring that one up.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Any parting words, Avery, before we go? It's the longest one we've done, I think.
Yeah, I think it is. It's nearly an hour and a half. The only,
right.
yeah. Well, firstly, I've really enjoyed this discussion. I just want to reiterate, I'm sad that the Child Protection Party closed down, and I'd really appreciate it if people, with the work that we want to do with the Halo Foundation, if people could take a look at the website, find the donate button, and donate a little bit of money to help us do that work.
Absolutely.
And that's it. And I appreciate all the comments as well. There's been some good ones there.
There haven't, and I repeat it. And I'm sorry. I do apologise for not having followed them through from the very beginning, which is what I guess I should have done, because that's why we have the comments, and that's why you have the discussion.
Tony?
My poll. Someone has sent. So JG sent us more. Thanks, JG. Sent us $8. You're a gem. You really are. 88%. Does social media influence election results? 88. So the answer, yes, 88%, and no, 12%. And there's a total of 50 votes in all of that. So that's quite reasonable. So 88%. Does social media influence election results? I believe they certainly do.
Cosmin has sent $7.99 as well. Thank you.
Oh, Cosmos, thank you very much too. Appreciate it. We'll send that money on to Avery because he deserves it for coming in today. So really do appreciate that.
We'll do it again next week.
And we'll do the same next week. That'll be great. So I'll just say, Avery, catch you in a second. But I just want to say to everybody, again, thanks for being here. Really do appreciate it. Please remember to subscribe to my channel, ring the bell for further notifications. Let me know what you think about any of the videos. There'll be stacks of videos coming out in this couple of weeks, or couple of days actually. And I really do appreciate everything that you all have to say. So take care, everybody. Look after yourselves and be safe.